name is Rosalie, and you are listening to the Denver Astrology Meetup podcast. This is our first supplemental podcast, and today we are deep diving into the full moon that is happening in Aquarius on August 9th at around 1:55 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I am joined here today by my wonderful co-host, as normal, Bren Biggs of The Fortune of the Fool, and Zane Neville of Neville Astrology. Yes. And we are here today on Wednesday, August 6th, starting at, does anybody have the time?
Oh, yes, it is 10:40.
Hell yeah, exactly?
Exactly.
Hell yeah, at 10:40 a.m. starting this podcast off. So you guys want to tell new listeners a little bit about yourselves?
Yes, hi, my name is Bren. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me at Fortune of the Fool. And I am a Pisces Sun, Aries Moon, Aries Rising, and an Aquarius Mercury.
Hello everybody, I'm Zane Neville. I go by he, him pronouns, and I'm a Libra Sun, Gemini Moon, Pisces Rising, and Libra Mercury. So that's me.
Hell yeah, and then I also go by they, them pronouns. Do you...
and your Sun and... you
Sun and Virgo and Mercury, or Sun and Mercury and Virgo. There we go. Like the Mercury retrograde really hitting hard.
It's so slow right now. That's what we're talking about. Mercury is like about to station direct. It's like, where are we going? There's so much going on.
How are we doing this? Yeah, exactly, 100%. And then I have a Aquarius ascendant and a Sagittarius moon.
Oh, Aquarius ascendant, yeah. So this is a spotlight for you.
Yes.
This full moon.
Well, because the moon will be at 16 degrees of Aquarius, right in that like middle decan of Aquarius, which is double mercurial ruled, my favorite little part of
with the
Aquarius.
Mercury retrograde, with all this.
Well, yeah, opposing it at 4 degrees of Leo it is at this lunation, if we have the lunation chart. And we'll be exploring a lot of things about this, one of which being the Leo Aquarius Axis, where we have Mercury going retrograde as well as Pluto going retrograde. We get sextile trines from Saturn and Neptune conjoining at 1 degree Aries, both retrograde, and how that influences this lunation, as well as the trines and sextiles formed by Uranus at 1 degree Gemini and Mars at 1 degree of Libra, and their decanic implications. As for the role of the Benefics as well, Venus and Jupiter in Cancer, both in inversion to this full moon.
That axis thing, I'm really glad that you brought that up, because anytime we have a full moon, it's bringing into a conversation of two different parts of a chart or, axis. So it's a Aquarius full moon. So yes, the moon is in Aquarius, but the sun is in Leo. So I've been finding this to be, Leo's very dramatic, very expressive, things like that. So this new moon, the new moon that happened 2 weeks ago, that is building into this full moon, very dramatic. Lots of, people. I always find that with Aquarius and Leo, I know a lot of people don't see this with Aquarius, but I do, ego issues. It's not just Leo. Yeah. It's Aquarius. Aquarius has ego issues. I know, because I have Aquarius placements. But so clashing of the egos, I feel like, is part of this full moon.
Yeah, I think that's the vibe of the whole axis, is just ego, self-will, character, all that. And with this full moon, I always notice Aquarius full moons are like a time to really shine your true self, but maybe in a different light, exploring different perspectives, ideas, ways of expressing yourself. And since we have Mercury retrograde also involved in Leo, it's like really just understanding new opportunities, new perspectives, and how can you be the most genuine throughout all of it. That's how I have felt during this time period.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think that it's just that axis is a lot of tension between like authority and community.
Yes.
So in that we have a lot of conversations about like, who is my most authentic self? How do I show up authentically in my community? But how do I hold my community accountable for its authenticity as well?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big topic of discussion on a collective level, but we'll get into that with like the air sign stuff for now.
For sure. Yeah.
Other thoughts about this axis at all?
I just think it's a funny axis. I mean, this is just a side note. Like we've talked about, they both have to do with like ego and all that stuff. But Leo is like, hey, pay attention to me. I'm so super like unique and so different from everybody. Are you watching? And then Aquarius is like, I'm here to help everybody, but that makes me different.
But I would argue too that Aquarius wants to be seen. I think Aquarius
absolutely
does not want to be seen maybe in the same way that Leo does, but
it wants to be seen as a pariah, as somebody who stands out amongst the crowd.
Yeah.
I need to be against the crowd. I need to be this like hipster. But if you label me a hipster, then hipsters aren't cool anymore.
But that is bringing me to like the mind of like the rulers of each of these signs, right? So it's the Leo, the sun, versus Aquarius is Saturn, right? So Saturn, the planet of restriction, like tightening things, like you were saying, like standing rigidly in something, opposing to the sun, which is like life-giving and also could burn you. There's a lot of,
Yeah, I mean, Saturn is borders, and I feel like it's like Aquarius is very conscious of, oh, these are your terms, these are like what makes you you, and I'm not going to go into it because I want to be me.
Yeah.
And so that's why they stand outside of like the norm.
Yeah.
And then we can't forget that Pluto is retrograding in early degrees of Aquarius right now, too, influencing this lunation as well as that Mercury retrograde. So how do you guys feel like that impacts this lunation?
I feel like all of this is a major transformation, and with Pluto, it's just adding a little bit of pain in there, a little bit of like... a little bit of like, ooh, this hurts, like I'm digging down, or it's like more of like a slap in the face of like, hey, you really need to change this.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and also we can't forget that it's been having this conversation with Uranus as well in a trine it's going to be for a while. So, Uranus is at 1 degree Gemini right now, and Pluto's at 2 degrees Aquarius, and it's retrograding. So they're like having a total conversation. We think of Pluto, it's like explosive too. It's like the atomic bomb, it can be really big changes. And then when we're adding that to also Uranus, which is like the wild card, anything can happen. There's just a lot of like instability, I feel like, which is also encouraging people to act out in a different way. Like people are feeling really a lot, and so people might not be showing up as maturely or as their best selves either. I think I just want to say that too. And
no,
this lunation,
1000%.
especially from the Leo new moon, even 2 weeks ago to now, it's like we're building up to something really big. Ooh. Literally, the cats are fighting. That's what I'm saying. That's very Leo.
It happens.
It's so Leo.
Cats be wrestling. Mine do it too.
Yeah, but that's literally the energy, Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of like revisiting old arguments, especially with Mercury in place there, and there's just that tension between fixed ideals and shifting intellectual currents.
Yeah. Well, and Aquarius is very rigid, and so is Leo. They're fixed signs. So I think that's something we have to consider too with all this shifting with the Pluto and Uranus. Like, hey, things are changing. Like, we're in a new energy, new era. That stubbornness of like, well, what do we keep though? What is our structure? Like, what do we stay stubborn about, and what do we need to give way to?
Hell fucking yeah.
Especially with, can I talk about our Aries energy too in the sky?
1000%.
Great. So not only that, we also have, there's just a lot in this lunation. That's why we decided to do, we don't usually do, podcasts or whatever.
No, but there is just like so much happening, and I feel like so much articulating in this full moon, and we all had stuff that we wanted to talk about, like, and deep dive into it. And like Bren and I made our own little supplemental videos, but we wanted something a little bit more nuanced to like really dive deep into it.
Yeah, so you can prepare. Yeah, did you want to talk about Saturn and...
Well, I was going to say, before we move on to like a different part of the chart, so far we've been talking about the opposition between like the sun and the moon making the full moon, and also the opposition between Mercury and Pluto. Do either of you guys have like one last final bit before we move on to the other parts of the chart?
I just feel like it's a lot of ego versus collective mindset.
Yep. And also like questioning ourselves and our own desires. Like, are we even communicating what we desire in a way that can be receptive to the other person? Or are we just trying to pick fights because we feel unheard, even though we're not really showing up in a way that we can feel heard, you know?
Yeah, so on the night of the full moon, with these two oppositions in this axis, I do think if you just sit down and have a conversation with yourself about how to be more genuine, what is it that you're needing, what are your true desires, you'll be able to find a lot of depth and a lot of clarity.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so breaking away from this axis point now and shifting towards the nice little sextile / trine that we get with Aries placements. Bren, our little Aries enthusiast over here with their own natal ascendant and moon and Venus there. Take it away.
Awesome. Well, we have Saturn and Neptune at 1 degree of Aries right now. They haven't exactly conjuncted yet. They did a little tease, and now Saturn's like pulling away again, and it's going to go back into Pisces for a little bit before they make their conjunction actually next year. But I've been seeing a lot with Saturn and Neptune together. Saturn's a lot about structure. They're like opposites in a lot of ways. Like Saturn's about structure, truth, things like that, and Neptune's about the dream, about the idealism, things like that. So something that might be coming up with this energy even in this whole year, it's a bigger aspect going on, but it's going to be a lot about like what's real, what dreams did you think were real but they're actually not, like what falsehoods are falling away, what veils are being removed, and you're like seeing reality as they are. And also how can we make and build dreams that are more realistic? What do we really want to fight for? Like what dreams do we really want to come into reality that is actually more realistic?
I feel like that veil is going to be like aggressively pulled away because it's Aries.
Well, it is already. Like we've been feeling that.
Well, yeah. And also don't forget that Saturn does not like Aries land. Saturn's in its fall in Aries, so it is not in the best structure and it doesn't have what it needs to do what it's looking for. So that kind of reality check comes with a lot of mistakes, a lot of faults, a lot of like shit that's ugly that you're not going to want to address, that you're going to have to address. And if you don't address it, Saturn's going to tell you about it later.
Yeah. Well, and like with this lunation in particular, it is opposing Mars, which is entering Libra right now. So, you know, Mars is not really the most fun planet either, especially it doesn't like being in Libra either. I guess there's somewhat of a mutual reception, not really, but Saturn likes Libra and it will be opposing. But anyway, that's like too much for this right now. But basically, Saturn and Neptune working together to also oppose that Mars Libra, which is kind of more passive and like, you know, how would you explain like a Mars Libra? Like just...
Oh, passive aggressive in the way that's like per my last email. It's like it will tear you to filth in the most polite ways possible. You know, it will give you a reason to hate yourself without giving you a reason to be able to hate the person, like the Libra Mars. Like, they will, like, walk their way around it so eloquently.
Well, Mars is usually very fiery, very in-your-face, very warlike, but it's detriment in Libra, so it still has those warrior qualities, but just in a very calm, chill, collected way, kind of like the passive-aggressive email.
Because Libra likes to keep the peace.
It's also Mars in the Venus lunar decan of Libra, so that's even more like collective cohesion kind of thing. So it's arguments discussed as diplomacy and justice through conflict. It's Mars trying to fight with Venusian tools. It can't really do that very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and speaking on that opposition again with Saturn and Neptune at the first degree of Aries and then Mars at the first degree of Libra, I think on the night of the full moon, if you I would just check your intentions. If your intentions has to do with like competition, being aggressive, kind of getting into that warlike energy, I don't think it's going to go well because Saturn's in its fall and then Mars is in detriment. So if you really try to connect to that warlike, aggressive energy and your intentions are aligned in that way, it might not go well.
Especially because that first decan of Aries is super Martian, so it's combative. It's aggressive. It's in your face. It's what are we going to do about it? Yeah. And Saturn likes to slow things down. So when it's that Mars-ruled energy of Saturn wanting to be brutal and direct, it has severe correlation of just attempts to restrain impulsive agendas that don't necessarily go the way that you need them to go.
I like that.
Well, and I just want to throw it in there. Neptune's right there. Neptune is an illusion master, you know? So just keep in mind that you might be thinking about a situation and you might not know all the facts. You might not actually see the reality of the situation as it is. So keep that in mind too. Like if you're feeling really emotionally charged, like cool off a little bit before saying something you can't take back. Well, and also it's just hard to like look at this chart and not recognize like there's basically like an air Grand Trine going on with Pluto, Uranus, and Mars. So you know there's a lot of social energy I'm feeling for this, a lot of like unexpectedness, a lot of change, a lot of dynamic changes, maybe friendship deaths or relationship like ending, but also maybe just like ways of doing a certain relationship is ending so you can create a new type of relationship with someone that is more authentic to where you are now.
And on the flip side of that, like kind of seeing an optimistic energy of that Grand Trine, what I'm picturing is like a mad scientist who finally figures out like a plan and he's like, oh my gosh, and just like goes full force into his project. And so I do think on the night of the full moon, there is like this energy around us of thinking and discovering new perspectives and really trying to figure out how you can change certain structures in your life, that being the Neptune Saturn stuff. Because yes, there is that Grand Trine, but 2 points of that Grand Trine is also sextiling Neptune and Saturn, and so it's like at the top of the kite. And so I think all of this Grand Trine energy is going to be channeled through Saturn and Neptune. So I do think...
You think it wouldn't channel through Sun and Mercury? Are they too far apart? Because that's another sextile point between them.
That is another kite.
Well, it's fire and air regardless if it's
It's just a
Aries.
lot of fire and air bullshit.
Which, if you think of fire and air, they like each other. You know, you can't have a fire without some air, but also too much of anything is too much.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's a flow of ideas, but it's a volatile flow of ideas. Volatile?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Again,
it's aggressive.
The mad scientist just like running with his ideas.
We're not seeing much of any earth in this chart actually at all whatsoever. But what we are seeing, if you don't mind me shifting just another thing, is that we are, for this lunation, also going to experience a Venus-Jupiter conjunction. It's not going to happen exactly when this happens, but it's very shortly after. And, you know, that's our water. That's Cancer. So Jupiter and Cancer, do you know what degree they're meeting at?
14.
Yep.
14 degrees, like on a day or two after, which is within the full moon energy.
I think
anyway.
it's the 12th it happens.
Yeah, so usually we feel full moons 3 days before, 3 days after, give or take some, especially depending on how it's hitting
You
your
feel
chart.
any transit that way.
Sure.
Yeah, and with the conjunction, I do think there is like beautiful nurturing energy growing, and we're like cultivating that. But during the full moon, it's in inversion, so we might not be able to see it. We might not be able to feel it right away.
Yes.
But then a couple days later, especially as Mercury stations direct, it might become a lot easier to see our own personal growth and see our own beauty and acknowledgement, whatever that Cancer, Jupiter, Venus conjunction story is for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when things are in inversion to something, so the fact that the Benefics, the things that do the best good, both of them, are in inversion to pretty much everything happening in this chart, not really, but to the lunation itself specifically, they can't assist it. They can't help it out. So it's whatever's happening right now, you don't get that kind of sweet release until, like you're saying, they can join later or check out in what part of their chart you have cardinal placements or things are activated in those kinds of ways. But
yeah, I'm definitely feeling a lot of like big energy is going to come for this Aquarius full moon, like a big, you know, chaos of some kind. It might not be your drama, but there's going to be a drama of some kind, even if it's just like globally or whatever. There's some sort of drama, and then hopefully, yeah, with time, it might feel really intense in the moment because it's, again, fire and air fueling that fire, but with time, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it'll come to a good resolution. It seems like it'll be pretty positive no matter what the outcome is. It'll have an outcome that's overall for the benefit of most.
And I feel like at this moment you should already be feeling this whole full moon story. I feel like we don't need to necessarily interpret like how it could show up personally. At this point, with all this crazy energy, it's probably already manifesting.
Yeah, and it's probably impacting a lot of different areas of your life because
Exactly.
it's scattered. There's a lot of different things going on.
yeah, but look to where Cancer is in your chart to see where the blessings are that are happening simultaneously to the chaos that you can't really control that's going through this Leo Aquarius axis in your life.
What I really like, a couple days after the full moon, when Mercury stations direct, the moon is going to be conjunct the North Node in Pisces, trining that conjunction with Venus and Jupiter. And so I just think that's going to be a really sweet, beautiful energy.
Yeah.
I mentioned it as like a gravitational pull into the right direction. Like, I feel like life is going to force us and push us in a way where it's like, no, this over here is better for you. Like, go. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Well, and whenever we're talking about the nodes, we're talking about growth versus stagnation or comfort. So our south node, that's the stagnation, comfort. But in order for us to grow and really find, purpose and things like that, we have to be willing to grow. And sometimes that's getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So
I think that's also very Jupiterian. Like, Jupiter expands and grows, but sometimes we have growing pains.
A lot of times you have growing pains. Trust from Jupiter on the ascendant.
Yeah. And in a Saturnian sign. Yeah.
Any other parting thoughts about the Benefics together in Cancer, though, for this?
Yeah, I actually do.
Go ahead.
If you don't mind me saying just one thing. Cancer is a cardinal sign. So when these two energies are coming together, I'm just feeling like, let's have like there's like a new beginning here. There's some sort of promise for like a new beginning in that area of life. A nice new beginning of sweetness. So for us to really fully take it all in, I think we need to just see it and witness it and be grateful for what it is, even if it's not like, oh yeah, I won $1 million, all my problems are solved. It's like, no, but like I have a new relationship with someone at home that like my new roommate is like really nice to me. It's like appreciate the small things. That's what makes it bigger. You
Yeah.
know?
I feel like that resolution and that release just comes from rethinking your own harder past structures, because that being cardinal energy is squaring that Aries energy that we were talking to earlier.
I like that. Yeah, it's like during this full moon, there is a lot of rethinking, reanalyzing, and discovering like genuine self-expression. And I think through that, that's how we are going to access that like beautiful Venus-Jupiter like emotional catharsis.
I should say these are the parts of your ego that are fixed, right? These are the stubborn parts of your ego that we're dissecting through this axis to like kind of wrap it back to
the
like,
Leo and Aquarius
stuff.
I do have one thing to say about the Cancer
Yes,
stuff.
go.
Cancer,
Sorry.
no, you're okay. So Cancer is a homebody. So during like the full moon and a couple days after during the conjunction, if you feel any need to stay home, do it.
Yes.
You do it, you will be rewarded, you will feel a lot better. If you feel like staying home but you go out instead, it's probably going to be a bad night. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys have any takeaways, I guess, for our full moon?
Be open to new ideas. Don't be scared of big, scary thoughts that hurt emotionally. If you need to cry, cry. And if you need to yell at someone, do it, but be polite. Libra and Mars. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Or Mars and Libra, sorry.
Yeah, I like to throw, like, if I'm feeling really emotional, I have to send an email or whatever, I'll, like, type it all out how I mean it, and then I put it through ChatGPT just to be like, can you just, like, make this more approachable? You know, like, I'm having a lot of feelings here, Aries moon, you know. But yeah, I really appreciate that. I also wanted to say, too, about the Mercury retrograde. So usually for a Aquarius full moon, I wouldn't really care about Mercury, I guess, that much. But this Mercury retrograde is in Leo. So it's in the conversation for sure. So just know that with Mercury about to station direct, like we're slow. Our communication is like stagnant. Like things just might not be going as they need to. So just don't be afraid to slow down and just be patient too. You don't need to force anything right now. Things are going to happen as they're going to happen. If you force it, it might be more detrimental than if you just wait it out, give people time to calm down. Because also just gives people a little grace because they also might not be showing up as good. So
the full moon's affecting everybody, not just you.
Yeah, take care of yourself. And the moon is the body, so make sure you're taking care of your body, hydrating, staying at home if you need to.
I would say 3 different questions to really ask yourself to access this full moon energy is 1, what do I need to express and what is holding me back from expressing it? 2 would be, what do I need to change in order to express these things? And then 3, how would I feel, how liberated would I feel if I did express it?
I like the
great
liberation
questions.
in the Uranus conversation.
100%. I feel like that if you just go forward with a little bit of forethought and a little bit of moderation, you're going to be fine. If you go forward with a lot of pride and a lot of cockiness, a lot of impulsiveness, you're probably going to get slapped in the face by life telling you to sit the fuck down and rethink your life decisions.
Yeah. Well, and I think we need to also just mention that having an ego is not a bad thing.
No, having a big, prideful, overdramatic ego is the issue.
It needs
here.
to be balanced. So I think that's the conversation that's coming into play too. Like, are you advocating enough for yourself, or are you overdoing it? Are you over putting your will on people? Like, this is the balance. Because anytime we're talking about accesses, we want to find the balance. Especially if you in particular have like heavy Aquarius placements. Like, say you have a lot there, not a lot of Leo placements. You're going to need to balance it out by incorporating maybe more Leo people in your life, or just having more Leo qualities
more
in your
fire
life.
sign energy, even to
Yeah,
just like help
balance
and
it out.
support that in some sort of ways, or just doing things for yourself on a solar day. So like doing very solar things on a Sunday, you know, could help you with that Leo energy that you're lacking in your own chart. So you can mitigate it in a lot of different ways and a lot of different, I guess, mindsets. But bringing other people into your life that have those energies is definitely one way to do it, because this is a very relational axis as well. I don't think that Aquarius and Leo can be talked about without talking about the collective versus the personal. You know?
Well, and also like fun. Can we talk about some fun? Like we also, it's like summer still. It's like Leo season. It's like we need to not take things so seriously. And so just keep that in mind too. Like Leo season.
There's too much intellectualization. I cannot say that fucking word. Going on with all this air sign trying.
I would say that as well, because every Aquarius full moon, I have so much fun because it's connecting with that silly and not being so serious. But there's so much like melancholy energy over everything else, especially with like Saturn, Neptune, Mercury retrograde. So I think this full moon won't be as silly, But I still think there are some good times in there as well.
Well, and like I think you can channel that still into creative
100%.
things. So like write a sad song if you're sad, or
That's
like
a good idea. Yeah.
write a play. I don't know.
I like
Or
that.
no, just have a better mindset of like, hey, everything fucking sucks right now, but I can enjoy the moment that I can and try to find the most of it where I can and how I can, and maybe doing things like that just help you attune to the best version of yourselves and cut down your ego a little bit in the process.
It's kind of like a reality check of like, what can I control in this situation, and how can I have fun, even though I can't control some of these things.
1000%.
Ooh, well, we have to talk about just one quick
Yeah,
thing
you're
too.
good.
I know we're wrapping this up, but power. We have to talk about power
Oh,
because
'cause Pluto.
Pluto in Aquarius, and that is, the people's power. That's kind of like
Oh,
the
1000%.
Like, so just know, like, if you're having power struggles with people at this time, you're right on time. That's exactly what we're working through. Like, what is your inner power versus like how do we need to show up in power within our communities and as a collective?
I like
1000%.
that. Mhm.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Any other parting thoughts?
I think that's it. I think we're all prepared for this full moon, or prepared to our best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a great
I'll
time.
try.
And make sure you focus on the area of life within your personal chart to see how it's directly impacting you.
Well, if you don't want to do that yourself and you want one of us to do it, you can find Bren and book a reading with them at...
fortuneofthefool.com, and all of this will be linked in the show notes as well.
You can go to my link tree. It is at the bottom of the description, or you can visit my Instagram at Neville Astrology.
And then astrorosalie.com, or again, linked in the show notes. So thank you all for joining us today. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, death threats about this upcoming full moon, please direct them our way. You can reach us out Denver Astropod on all social media.
Denver Astropod, yep.
Our Astro Meetup. Denver Astro
There we
Meetup.
go. There we go. That's it.
We changed, we shifted.
It's
It's Mercury
rebranding.
retrograde.
Yes.
Have a good night, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your day.